Jon Moxley is unsanctioned. What an epic, fantastic promo on AEW from last night's episode. Hello and welcome to WrestleTalk Live. Man, I've already screwed up the intro.
What
This
happened?
Isn't the usual way. I say I'm Ollie Davis first.
Yeah.
I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Chopper Pete Quinnell, and welcome to the WrestleTalk Live Review edition of AEW Dynamite. Please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, and get your super chats in, because we'll be getting to those after the opening discussion point, and then the rest of them at the end of the show. And also, look at our lovely graphics.
Yay.
Stroke the graphics, Pete. Stroke the graphics.
There they are. I'm just kind of
download the podcast version. It's got
Yes.
exclusive intro and outros.
It does.
Follow us on Twitter, where loads of WrestleTalk news articles are shared from the website that don't clog up your YouTube community feed anymore. Follow us on Instagram. Stuff happens there too. And Facebook is also good.
You're enjoying this way too much.
Yeah. Well, I like the graphics, personally.
Well, thanks.
Right, so last night's episode of AEW, I've literally just finished watching it. We're doing Crown Jewel live reactions later, so immediately after this stream. So me and Laurie came in late today. So I watched AEW Dynamite. I finished it half an hour ago. Usually there's 5 hours between me watching it and talking about it here. So this is excited Ollie. This is what I'm like after I usually watch, not the first episode of AEW, because I was a bit like, that wasn't perfect. Which, you have those high expectations for the debut episode. But this is how I've been every week since. This is episode 5, isn't it?
Think so, yeah.
And I just love it. Interestingly, I listened to the Wrestling Observer Radio review before I did watch it, and they were quite down on it. There were
interesting.
So they thought that the main event didn't adhere to sort of the tags enough. That the Lucha Bros don't really tag, which is fair, but I didn't even notice it.
Nor did I. I didn't notice it at all.
And also, they had some issues with this Jon Moxley stuff, which was interesting.
Really?
And Meltzer took against quite significantly the Halloween theme of the episode, where there was a lot of goofiness and dressing up.
Yeah.
And fun stuff like that. I personally loved it. The only thing I didn't get on with was the Brandi Rhodes VT.
Yeah.
Which was
super weird.
Yeah, back to back, the worst thing on the show, because she had a weird segment last week. Not the worst is a wrong word. It's just,
Just doesn't seem to gel with the rest of the show. But anyway, let's talk about this Moxley promo.
Yeah, so let's start, because it was set up in a recap clip right at the start of the show, which played what happened after last week's episode went off air. There was a slight botch last week. It was meant to go off air because it was Pac versus Moxley, and they went to a time limit draw. That happened, and Mox DDTs the referee and then says, screw your time limit, to the camera. What was meant to happen was Omega was meant to run down too, as was Paige. Paige was going to challenge Pac to a match. There was going to be some sort of altercation stuff between Omega and Moxley, but they ran out of time. So they showed a cut-up version of that with Paige and Pac here, and Moxley storming around backstage after last week's episode. I love the way they film all their backstage stuff, by the way. And someone says, Tony wants to see you.
And it's got subtitles along the bottom as well, which made it feel even more like, I don't know, like official. It was almost like, it's unseen footage that we're not supposed to be seeing kind of thing. It had that kind of vibe to it. It was really cool.
Because people weren't properly mic'd up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it definitely makes it feel more real. And Moxley walks in to Tony's office, and everything is done through this closed door. So that's another reason why you've got those subtitles. And it felt really real. It felt very Montreal Screwjob.
It did,
when
didn't it?
The Wrestling with Shadows documentary has that just magnificent scene where Vince and Brett are behind closed doors, and you've just got, I think it was, someone had their mic pack on still, and they can pick it up. So I really like that. But it was Tony saying, look, this feud between you and Omega has become so dangerous. Like, you literally just DDT the referee, that's not on, that we can't sanction this match as a promotion. which means it will be a lights out match, which is what they did. Moxley had that with
Janela, I want to say.
There was a lights out match earlier in the year.
Yeah.
It's a stipulation that was around a lot in the, the 80s and 70s and stuff. It's essentially where at the end of the show, all the house lights and the production turn off to give the feel that that the governing body is not recognizing this match.
Yes.
This is no longer part of an officially sanctioned contest.
Yes.
And that's why it's called a lights out match. But it hasn't been used for so long. So I felt it didn't, not that it didn't work when they did it on pay-per-view earlier this year, but it requires some re-education of the audience.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. And I don't know if the name needs to change, whether they don't call it a lights out match, just because that name doesn't really ring true to how they actually do the match, whether they just call it an unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
Would probably be better, I think. For viewer, for convenience sake, I'd say it might be easier. But the idea behind it, though, I think is really, really good, really sound, and it makes sense. He's like, you're just too dangerous. And it just puts over Moxley as this kind of unhinged, crazy person, really furthering his character as well. I thought this was great. I loved it.
Yeah, and so the way Mox took this was very, very negatively. Because from his perspective, he wants to beat Omega in the ring. And this is just saying to him, us as a promotion won't recognize it if you beat Omega.
Yeah.
And of course, Moxley, he's a bit unhinged. He's trying to change an industry. He's just come from a place where he was essentially held down in favor of the Golden Boys, like the Roman Reigns and the Seth Rollins. So he hears this and thinks, you're just like those other people. You're just trying to put me in a box. I'm crazy Dean Ambrose. He doesn't say this, but this is, the context of what he was saying.
Yeah.
I'm crazy Dean Ambrose. You put me, I'm a sideshow. And I love the motivation here from him.
And I think, like I said before, it all just made sense because you have that past of Moxley and WWE and how they pushed him aside. And then you have Tony Khan just being like, hey, man, it's just because it's nothing to do with that. It's just because you are literally dangerous. You just DDT'd a referee. Like, this isn't anything to do with Omega. He's like, no, but Omega's your boy. That's the point, is Omega is one of the executive vice presidents. He's one of the guys that AEW has with one of their boys. So he's saying, I want to beat one of your boys. And now, even if I beat him, it's not going to count. And that's BS, essentially, is what he was trying to say. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I loved Mox. I think just Mox as a character and as a performer, in just the way he delivered all this, it's like legit acting.
I know.
He could walk into any episode of Law and Order. He could walk into any network TV drama and be a bad guy killer. He'd rule at it. Now, wasn't perfect, though, because Tony Khan's performance it didn't need to be good, from an acting perspective. He's just there to say the lines.
Yeah.
But the lines he did say, I took issue with. He said, you're the purveyor of violence. And that, we call WWE out for this all the time. You cannot get away. In a real naturalistic conversation, and you've gone through such painstaking effort to make that happen.
Yeah.
You say, but you're the purveyor of violence. No human speaks that way. Even if you're a big fan of stats and numbers.
Imagine if Vince McMahon just goes up to Roman Reigns in the middle of the night and just goes, no, but you're the big dog.
I would expect that from WWE.
Yeah, in fact, you'd expect that from Vince, but not in a real conversation.
Yeah, so first off, that jarred with me, and it did take me out of it, unfortunately. But then Tony started saying, I thought you'll be happy about this. And I thought, that's not the story you're telling here. Moxley just... In kayfabe, he just hit his biggest move on one of your company officials. First of all, you should be pissed off, but fine, you haven't got the acting abilities to do it. But then don't say, I thought you'd be happy about this. You should say, no, we're not going to give you that. This is punishment for you attacking a referee.
Yeah.
And that's how you make it an unsanctioned match. That justifies why Moxley is then, angry about not getting the win. It makes more dramatic tension there and conflict.
I read it a slightly different way. I totally get what you're saying, and now you've said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that actually isn't quite as good. Yeah, that is quite good. But when he first said that, I almost read it as though like Tony was almost intimidated by Moxley being next to him, and he was just kind of saying, hey, I thought you'd like it. He was like trying to make excuses as to why Moxley should calm down. He's like, oh, but you know, you get to do whatever you want to Omega. That's what you like doing, right? This is good for you, kind of thing. I found it was him just trying to like make excuses to make Moxley more happy because there's a very pissed off man standing in front of him. Yeah. That's the way I took it anyway, is that Tony isn't kind of, you know, that aggressive, pissed off character. He's just kind of, I will do what you want kind of thing.
You know, it jarred with me. But that isn't, interestingly, the best part. I thought Moxley was fantastic here. The filming, production, everything was fantastic here. My only problem was Tony, which pains me to say because I, you know, as a sort of businessman and what he's done with the promotion so far, he's been fantastic. Yeah. But these things happen when you put these people in a performing capacity.
And he said he's not going to be an on-screen character, and technically, he wasn't on the screen.
Asterisk. Loophole. But the actual thing came later. This is a little bit later on in the show, and Peter Avalon and Levi Bates came out, the Librarians. I think this is the first time they've been on Dynamite.
Yeah, I think you might be right, actually. Yeah, I don't think they've been seen since way back when.
Yeah, it's not been a successful act for them. Apparently, they've been getting over on dark matches, and AEW Dark, I think they've had a match on. But the pay-per-view stuff with them on hasn't gotten over. It's a bit too goofy. It's not really working here, but they did get some nuclear heat here. This was a great crowd, though. And they come out, and they're, you know, Peter Avalon's doing his shh thing, and he gets some hometown heat. I don't really care. But then Mox starts walking through the crowd. And because the Librarians are that sort of character, man, I was excited.
Yeah.
Like, it was the perfect placement to put Mox. He walks through the crowd. Everyone's going nuts because they can see what's going to happen here. Mox just gets straight into the ring. Levi runs for her life. Avalon, like, does that. And Mox just hits the paradigm shift. Yeah. While Tony Schiavone screams, "Your book is overdue!"
What a great line.
Fantastic. Schiavone was second best thing on this show for me.
He was great. Yeah, loved him on this show. As soon as he hits that paradigm shift, crowd is going nuts. Avalon just kind of Thanos is away. We don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
And then Moxie grabs a microphone, and boy howdy, good Christ, he can cut a promo, can't he? Oh man, Moxie grabs this promo, and he cut a really heated, fiery promo, which is the best kind of Moxley promo. And he just goes on and on about similar stuff that we were saying earlier. About saying they're trying to put me in a box, they don't want me beating one of their boys. Just hyping up that match at Full Gear on November 9th and just saying it's unsanctioned, and they say that I'm unsanctionable. Well, that's fine because Kenny Omega's blood is going to be on AEW's hands. It was just, there's so much to it. He does not stop. He barely takes a breath for this entire promo, and it made me so excited to see this match. Because I can't even tell you the exact words he said, but because of the way he said them, I was like, yes! I want to see this. It was awesome.
It's it's like when you become so captivated by performance, and it does like Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker, Heath Ledger in the Joker, Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. Like, those sorts of performances. I remember when I first really got into Kenny Omega. God, I can't remember, but you know, when it was just before he took over the Bullet Club. So 2015, summer of 2015, when he won the G1. And I think, yeah, that's right. And I'm sure it's not, and everyone's now screaming at me. And I was just so captivated by the way he delivered promos and spoke, because he speaks like no one else. And Moxie's got that as well. And I just can't get enough of him. And in the ring, I can actually have quite enough of him. Something about the ring turns me off a bit, unless he's brawling, or facing Ishii. But when he does his promos, all his character work outside, I think the cadence, the way he speaks, the way he switches it up, he is so utterly engrossing when he's talking. There are so many things in AEW that I think, well, you're my favorite thing. No, you're my favorite thing. And then when Moxley did this promo, I was like, No, you're my favorite thing. And then the Atlas security guy came out. No, you're my favorite thing. But yeah, it is an absolute brilliant promo. Gave me tingles.
Yeah.
He said what's really interesting here is that he took the idea, Tony Khan saying, we're not going to sanction the match. Something initially Mox goes, I don't like that. I want to win on a record. But that was a week ago. He comes out here and says, all right then, it's not going to be on a record, so I'm going to kill the person who's the face of your company. And he almost owns the fact that this negative, I'm unsanctionable, I'm the sickest son of a bitch there is, I'll tell you what I told the suits in the other place I used to work, what I'll tell the police, what I'll tell Turner officials, kiss my ass and stay the hell out of my way. So there's a sneaky shot at WWE there as well.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
It was something special.
What's interesting is the Wrestling Observer's take on this, specifically Meltzer, where he didn't really like the idea of opening the show with Tony Khan effectively saying wins and losses don't matter because this is an unsanctioned match. And then he saw it as an inconsistency for Mox to then come out, for Mox to be annoyed by that and then to come out and say, I'm not annoyed by it anymore because I'm going to kill him. And I can see where Meltzer's coming from there. But for me, I thought it was actually very consistent and totally plays within Mox's character.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it works so well because it's actual character development to be annoyed at the start and then own that negative and be like, right, I'm going to turn this into a positive then. If you won't do what I want to do, fine. I'll play your game, but I'm going to make it work my way. I think that works so well for Mox's character, and it still makes him look like a badass without like bending to authority, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I think it works perfectly.
I totally agree. But the other thing he said was he feels like there's been too many hardcore matches specifically for Mox. Again, I think that's the best use of him. So why wouldn't you put him in there? And you're now stuck with an interesting storyline arc where you're effectively using a hardcore unsanctioned match to. I genuinely feel like we're building to an on-record match. Where it's like, you start off with the Hell in a Cell to build to the straight singles win, totally backwards.
Yep.
But I can see that working the way they're telling the story.
Exactly.
That Mox wants to get that record win over Omega. So I'm now thinking, in my predictions, I'm like, Mox is winning.
Yeah.
Mox is winning. He's going to beat Omega to set up a match where the result actually matters. And that flies against everything I think about wrestling and logic. Yeah. And I criticize WWE for that sort of stuff. But you know what? Rules are there as a guide sometimes. And for me, I think they have gotten around those rules. And I think it's a totally logical, consistent story. And I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's because they've positioned the unsanctioned match as lesser than a regular match.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why. Because you've got Hell in a Cell as this big feud-ending, career-ending structure, whereas the unsanctioned match is like, well, I guess we'll give you an unsanctioned match. And while it is technically a hardcore match, they're saying it doesn't count. And that's the line. You treat it like it's lesser than a normal match, which builds logically to go from unsanctioned to singles, even though it's going from hardcore to singles, it still makes sense.
Yeah, it flies in the face of everything I think I know. It's exciting stuff. Let's see what you guys thought on the super chats. Bobo Jacobo says, is AEW setting up Mox versus Khan in a lawsuit on a pole match? P.S. My name is pronounced Bobo Jacobo. It's Spanish. I said Jake Jacobo. So Jacobo.
Yeah, there we go.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I would hope Mox versus Omega.
Kevin, this promo from John reminds me of the promo he did after Seth turned on the Shield, but without the PG banner. It was so awesome.
It was so good. So fiery, so passionate, and it's the absolute best style of Moxley promo.
Here's Anonymous talking about that Wrestling Observer review. I heard Brian Alvarez take issue with Mox not caring about win-loss in the tag match with Pac, but I think what he's missing is that Mox does care about getting a win on the so-called greatest wrestler. Yeah, so that was the match last week where Mox was annoyed that it went to a time limit draw in the Pac match. That's what Alvarez took issue with that. Meltz took issue with this week's development.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's three-dimensional characters are based on inconsistencies and conflicting traits. And I have been taught, I guess, by another promotion that that's not possible in a forum like wrestling.
Yes.
And it's so exhilarating to see it actually being done in this sport, in this thing I love so much.
Yeah.
And it's more comparable to higher forms of art.
Exactly. Plus, I even think that works even in a two-dimensional character, because Moxley was annoyed that he didn't get the win last week because it went to a time limit draw, and now he's annoyed he can't get a win over Omega. He just cares about wins, and now he realizes that he physically cannot get a win over a Kenny Omega, so he's making the best of a bad situation by saying, fine, I will kill him instead.
Just to plug our thing directly after this, me and Laurie will be watching Crown Jewel with you all. So excited for that. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as Dynamite.
Yeah, just as good as Dynamite, if not better.
It's going to be good in a different way.
True.
In a fun WWE crazy way.
You hope.
I hope.
Yeah.
Hey, Carrillo versus AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see what they
If he
do
wins
with
the
Rollins
Battle Royal.
versus Fiend.
Might be Mojo Rawley, you don't know.
Yeah. Also, all of our super chat stuff from the Crown Jewel stream we're going to give to Sammy for Syria, which is a wonderful charity done by Sami Zayn to set up mobile clinical units, sort of like mini hospitals in Syrian refugee camps, which is a very noble cause. So hang out with us for that. So the full episode of Dynamite, awesome opening, cold open, Tony Schiavone, who I now want to call Tony Schiavone after Jericho called him that in a promo. Yeah. He's standing next to a private jet. And it was so obviously a private jet because it's not just like a big commercial thing. It's one of those really thin, cool-looking ones.
Yep.
And Tony came off as so naturalistic. He's running down the show saying we've got the contract signing tonight. And then Dustin Rhodes gets out this plane. And then Cody gets out the plane. I'm like, they're megastars.
Right? The thing is, they look so cool without looking really arrogant.
That's a good point, yeah, because that's a typically heel move. I'm here in my private jet. Look at all my money.
And then he gets into a limo, which is like, look at my extravagant things I've got. But they somehow didn't look like arrogant assholes. It was great.
They look like really successful people I want to win.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
It's redefining everything I know about wrestling because I didn't live through the 80s, and this is a very 80s, 70s way of booking baby faces. Proper, it's not Stone Cold Steve. It's not the rugged baby face having a go at his boss, which that's where my baby face mind goes to.
Yep.
It's the super successful, almost like boxer main event level baby face.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Then they both, Cody and Dustin, have a hug. Just saying good luck for later for the contract signing. Cody and Tony hop off into the limo, which drives him off to the arena later.
Mullet Guy is also there.
Mullet Guy is also there.
Don't know why.
Just because.
Then we get the recap of what happened last week and the mock stuff backstage. Then we go to JR and Excalibur. Lovely touch because Tony is still in the limo.
In the limo, yep.
I know it's an obvious thing, but I just like it when things make sense sometimes. That gave me enormous glee.
Yes.
And then straight into a cracking opening bout between Sammy Guevara and Hangman Page.
This was so good. Yeah. I think this is probably the best that Hangman's looked in AEW.
Totally agree.
Full stop.
Totally agree.
I think he looked so good in this match, and I bloody love Sammy Guevara. Oh, he is properly coming into his own as a truly obnoxious, cocky heel. He's so hateable, and as soon as his music hit, also AEW done some audio improvements so you can properly hear the themes in this one now. Sammy Guevara comes out to his music, crowd instantly booing him. So good. So good. Lots of heat as he just comes out proper cocky heel, just comes out soaking up all the crowd. He was so good. And then this match was awesome. So quick, back and forth, loads of flips and counters and dives and all sorts of stuff. And Page, even though he had less kind of more high-flying traditional babyface stuff, he still managed to make the offense that he did proper babyface pop, and he had like big boots and lariats and things like that, which somehow managed to pop the crowd more than Guevara's flips and counters that he did. It was crazy. It was so cool.
Yeah, and that's a testament to how Sammy worked as this really cocky heel. There's a brilliant moment where he's on the top rope, Paige is down on the ground. It looks like he's going to do some impressive flip dive. He just hops down and slaps Paige. And then he walks off to the hard cam looking all cocky. Paige is just right up though, holding his cheek, because that's not a devastating move. Sammy turns right round, slap on the chest to answer with. It was really good. I think Paige is turning heel.
You reckon?
Well, on being in the Elite this week, which Excalibur referenced on commentary here, he said that the Elite, it's not all like fun and games, where the Inner Circle is all quite a cohesive unit. The Elite is showing some tensions because there was a bit of tension between Cody and Paige. Paige has lost a lot. I think there is definitely fuel for a heel turn there. That's the only evidence, right?
Okay.
That they mentioned it on commentary and it happened on the Elite.
Yep.
And AEW would like to think, if they say that sort of stuff, they are planting seeds. Now, maybe because Paige worked so well as a babyface here, remarkably better than any other time he has in AEW.
Yeah.
And I've got to think, this is armchair psychology here, the pressure's off him. The pressure is off him to work as a babyface because he knows he's going heel in a month. Maybe even Full Gear. Maybe even to help Chris Jericho. When you think of that as a story, Paige he can't beat him, and he's fallen out of the main event picture since All Out. So he joins Jericho.
Yeah.
Maybe on the promise of a rematch or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then he screws Cody.
Yeah. I even think maybe it could be, possibly at Full Gear. I think he has to lose to Pac first. And I think that might be the deciding moment when he's like, right, I need to change something because he can't beat Pac. Maybe that's good. But this match had some really cool spots as well. There was a massive Uranagi from Paige to Guevara on the apron.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, it was brutal. There was a pop-up powerbomb, and as much as I love Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb that he does, it's normally just kind of goes up, down, and also I'll put my hands on you while you go down. Paige kind of threw him up, caught him, and then went, okay, and now, and then properly threw him down afterwards. It looked really, really cool. It was a really nice back and forth ending sequence, and then Paige hit the buckshot lariat for the win.
Really stiff,
Really, really cool.
I've got to say this, just because I criticized Charlotte Flair for it too. Save those moonsaults.
Yeah.
Paige always, every match, does a moonsault off the top rope to the outside. It's a great spot. It's too great.
Yeah.
You save those for your pay-per-view matches. And then it's like a genuinely, oh my God, this is a big match. When you do it in every match, sure, you're going to get a pop. It's a superficial pop, though.
Yeah.
So I would like to see him not use those unless he really has to.
Totally fair.
Plus, it's like, save your knees, man.
You
don't have to do those every night.
Yeah.
But afterwards, after Paige wins, cuts this cracking babyface promo saying he's going to do some cowboy S-word to Pac at Full Gear. That's good cowboy S-word. That's what I thought Vince McMahon with a cowboy hat saying.
During the shrink screen ad break, they played highlights of the match we'd just seen, but also we just saw Private Party. They were backstage with the Rock and Roll Express. You don't hear anything because it's a shrink screen ad break, but you can see Private Party being like, hey, you guys. And then they walk off, and then they just show the crowd a bit more. I was like, okay, sure.
It's a real effort to make it feel like, to use every second of TV time you have to flesh out your continuity.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And speaking of fleshing out stuff from nowhere,
Whew.
this match came out of nowhere, at least with Sammy Guevara and Paige. They're two of the more featured mid-carders in the promotion. Shanna, never heard of her. Portugal's perfect athlete. She comes down. Scream jobber.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought everything
massively.
about her
Yeah.
screamed jobber.
Yep.
That's not a slight. It's just the way she was presented.
Yep. She had a jobber Titantron. She came out kind of being like, hi to the crowd. Almost like, she almost had a bit of like nervous energy to be there kind of thing. It's like, okay, so you're getting beaten pretty quick then.
Yeah. And then out came Hikaru Shida. That's right, isn't
Hikaru.
it? Hikaru Shida.
Yeah.
Who was like my standout in that 4-way match.
Yeah.
It was all out. You know, the one Rio won to get the Nyla Rose match.
Yeah, yeah.
I picked her to win. I think she's done another pay-per-view match for AEW. I really like her. I think she's great.
Yeah.
I like how Rio is like a super baby face, but she does a bit more. She's got more of an edge to her, which I really like. So I thought, Shida's back. She's gonna squash this woman in a minute. It's gonna be great. And what happened was this like. Well, it was a 12-minute match.
Yeah, it was so long. It got to a point when they got kind of close towards the ending sequence where the commentators were like 5 minutes left, and I was like, it's gone 10 minutes? Oh my God. Because they fit in so much into this match.
Yeah.
Good God. Like, one of the first things they do, there's a little tussle to start with, and then on the outside, Shida sets up a chair, runs off it, and knees Shanna square in the face. It looks so good. It wasn't like... You know, when Kenny Omega's V-triggers, he kind of pumps his knee into their face. She just had her knee up and just jumped and just said, my knee will hit you now, and just landed on her. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was definitely probably the best spot of the whole match. And then, but some of the near falls at the end. I bought into...
Yeah, same.
They like 3 Shana near falls.
Yeah.
And yeah, that too. So there was a 10-minute time limit. It was a 15-minute limit. 15-minute limit.
15-minute time limit.
That's it.
There we go.
And Justin Roberts says when 10 minutes have passed, 5 minutes remaining. And AEW have done such a good job at setting that up as a feature of the matches. When they announced 10 minutes, I was like, Shanna could take this to a draw.
Yeah.
So when and then that only got the crowd more behind Shida. So when Shida won, like that. Everyone was really into this match, me included. I thought they did a fantastic job of getting everyone into the wrestlers using wrestling.
Yeah. And I mean, they were building up some sort of brainbustery type move from Shida throughout the whole match. She kept going for that move and Shanna kept countering it. And finally she hit a Falcon Arrow and it was for a near fall. I was like, come on! You can't build up this finish to not even be a finish. But yeah, she won with a Shining Wizard. Shida won. It was such a good match. Such a good match. Made both of them look like stars coming out of it. It was great.
And give some much needed depth to AEW's women's division.
It's a bit thin right now.
Moving on to the rest of the women's division. So we get a recap of Brandi Rhodes from last week where she attacked Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
Still hasn't really been fully explained that they feuded over in Stardom.
No. Did they?
I'm pretty sure from what people have written, that's the motivation for this.
Okay.
And it cuts in a very sort of artistic, almost, look, what it reminded me of, and Meltzer said this as well, but I thought of it independently, was the Impact segments with like Su Yung and Ali and all the undead bride stuff.
Yeah.
Which I actually quite got a kick out of in Impact, but that's because I really liked all those characters, and Brandi Rhodes hasn't found her bit yet.
Yeah.
And she's just, the almost Broken Universe style of filming, where she's putting on a black veil, she's doing some sort of seance thing, and there's some shots of Nyla Rose, right? I thought I saw Nyla Rose's eye.
No, there was pictures of Nyla Rose and Britt Baker and a couple of other women from the women's division, and then it was Awesome Kong that was also there, and then at one point her eye changed green for some reason. Things like that,
Yeah, and then Awesome Kong sort of rises up. So I think what's happening here is Brandi is summoning Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
For me, I've got no time for this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get the positives out of the way. It looked really cool. It was so well shot. Really, really cool looking thing. I just didn't get it at all. I was like, so Brandi Rhodes does voodoo stuff now? It's really hard to see her and Cody as two separate characters when they're so intrinsically linked as characters beforehand. So when I look at Brandi Rhodes, I'm just like, well, Cody's wife and manager, instead of being like, oh, it's Brandi Rhodes, that wrestling character. So if she's trying to find her own character here, cool. It's good she's having her own character. Didn't get it, though, why she's summoning Awesome Kong, who's already been in matches. It's not like it's a big debut. She's already had matches. That's not her character either. I just didn't know what to think about this at all. It didn't really do it for me.
Yeah. And Brandi Rhodes is quite high up in the company. I think there are a lot of better women wrestlers to focus on in their division. So it kind of it's a double negative for me. I didn't like this segment, and it's taken away focus from someone else they could be using. Shida, we just saw. Shanna, I'm now a big fan of. You've got Rio, obviously. I love Jamie Hayter's performance last week, along with B. Priestley, who really should, I think B. Priestley versus Rio is where the money's at.
Oh, yes, please.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we got Chris Van Vliet. That's how you say it, isn't it?
Vliet. Like fleet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What a mega... he is an amazing just MC, ringside interviewer. He's got a terrific YouTube channel, does interviews with loads of people.
Got a great presence about him. It's great.
Professional, effortless. If, he's my number one go-to... I know, Renee Young would be, actually.
Yeah.
Then him.
Yeah.
That's how good he is as a sort of backstage presence. And I've written down here, I don't know if this will translate to America. I guess Mario Lopez would be your version. He's the Dermot O'Leary of wrestling.
That's so good.
Dermot O'Leary
He's
is
amazing.
probably the apart from Anton Deck, he is the biggest network TV presenter.
Yeah.
And he is so effortlessly nice.
Yeah.
And when he's on screen, he makes me feel comfortable and happy. Yeah. And it sounds like I just fancy Chris Van Vliet. And maybe I do.
Maybe you do a little bit.
I think he's a fantastic, a great signing and presence on AEW. Anyway, he was only out there to introduce the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, who were a, magnificent tag team back in the day in the 80s, 70s and 80s. Yeah. And through the 90s as well, actually, in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I think I'm going to get corrected on
possibly
all of that. But they still wrestle now. They're they are
insane.
Old, and they are still putting on pretty decent matches.
They quite recently teamed with Tanahashi in New Japan. What?
They're beloved.
It's insane. Yeah.
Absolutely beloved. And, they're pioneers of that sort of high-flying wrestling. There is a direct through line from the Young Bucks to the Rock and Roll Express. And they come out here to sort of just present the tag titles ahead of the final, the tournament final later on. Robert Gibson is just wearing a hoodie.
Yeah. So casual.
Yeah. And they start to talk about, their historic win. They beat Hulk Hogan in this very arena.
Hogan and Arn Anderson in this very city or whatever. Yeah, it's great.
And I'm like, this is a really nice segment, a good Legends spot. And then Santana and Ortiz jump them.
Yep.
And beat them up and powerbomb. It was Ricky Morton.
I think it was Ricky, yeah.
Through the stage.
Oh, so good. So good. I said in
Blew my mind.
Yeah, in my 4-minute review that I did earlier, I said, this is how you use Legends to put over your current talent.
Brilliant.
This isn't bringing Legends back for the sake of having Legends. This isn't for a ratings bump. This isn't just like, look at these people. This is, look at these people. Oh, no, these guys are beating them up. Look how bad those guys are. You're putting over current heels by beating up Legends. It all makes sense. And that spot looked so good. Because it didn't look like, there wasn't like an obvious crash mat. From the way it was filmed, it looked like he just went through the stage.
Probably did.
Yeah, probably just like, I'll take that bump, sure. So they just put him through the stage, and then they just sat on the edge, just happy with their work. They looked awesome. And Rock and Roll Express just put over Santana and Ortiz amazingly. Yeah. It was perfect.
And the crowd, because sometimes you see this stuff and the crowd start cheering regardless because they've seen a fun spot. And that's a mark of not actually being invested in storylines or characters.
Yeah.
You're just seeing everything from a superficial plane. But the crowd went nuclear for this. They booed Santana and Ortiz out the building. Great night for the Inner Circle being genuine heels.
Apart from Jericho.
But later on,
Oh, yeah.
he got booed.
Oh, yeah.
What was the line? You're just a bunch of hillbillies.
Everyone hated
Brilliant,
that.
yeah. And I thought this was absolutely terrific. And then the Young Bucks chased them off. Fantastic angle because, the Bucks are feuding with the former LAX. I hope they get a tag team name.
Rather than Santana and Ortiz.
Because Santana and Ortiz is difficult for me to say.
Ortiz and Santees.
And also, I think there is some Jerry Lawler money in a Rock and Roll Express match against Santana and Ortiz.
Really?
Yeah, they're still doing wrestling. I think you could, we can still go, let's go up against you and have a real solid veteran match that they eventually lose.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Great angle.
After this angle, yeah, for sure.
Then we got Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and QT Marshall, who were fantastically yelling at Santana and Ortiz as it was cut into commercial break, and they were the heels in this match. So it's like it was such a dastardly act. Even these heels are disapproving of it.
Yeah, I really like that. But then I believe we get a quite long promo between Tony Schiavone and Cody. They're sitting in their limo, and it's just filming the two of them in the back of the limo, just talking. And this felt so natural, not a script in sight. And it was just the two of them just talking about memories and Dusty. And Cody was saying, oh, my mother comes to some of these shows and she's going to be watching me at Full Gear. And, I just really want to impress her. And talking about memories of the past and how it makes Cody feel. And talking about the contract signing tonight and the match on the November 9th. And it was nice. It was really, really nice. And it put over the contract signing in a big way. It put over the title match in a big way. Made everything feel really, really big time. But it was a bit long, I thought.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I could listen to Schiavone and Cody talk about Dusty Rhodes all day.
I thought it was a bit long. I think they could have done exactly the same thing and cut it down by about a minute. Okay. I think.
All right. I loved it. But there's a bit when Cody was so naturalistic.
I know.
As was Schiavone, but like this, and it made me love him like a friend or a brother. And that's what you want, isn't it? As a baby face. Again, it's not, he got out a private jet.
Yeah.
He's in a limo. He's wearing this suit. This is all stuff that I've been taught are heel traits. It's very exciting for my brain to go, something new. So I could listen. I think one of the stories Tony told is he went round Dusty Rhodes' house and Dusty was naked or something. Which got a big laugh from the crowd. And Dusty was like, you always make them wait. That's my bad Dusty impression to show you're a big star. And that played into Cody coming out late while Jericho was in the ring. Just the interaction between them as Tony as this replacement father figure. I mean, I wasn't going to cry, but here's the tear line. Right? Yeah. I'm usually all the way over here. I was about here. Yeah. I was quite, that was close.
It was close-ish.
Yeah. Bake Off final, I was here.
Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm not trying to downplay it in any way because it did such a good job of putting everything over that it needed to. It was a great segment, especially with how the main event went. Yeah. I would have rather they taken like a minute or two off of this and put that on the main event, personally.
But we come back to the Rick and Morty match, which the Wrestling Observer also didn't like.
Shocking.
I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan.
I'm not, but I still got a kick out of this.
I think it's a very, very smart pairing, and it's totally in the Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes wheelhouse, who were on the first episode of Dynamite. I've forgotten the name. Jay and Silent Bob.
Yep.
Very cool to your fan base. Rick and Morty is like the show. I know it's like it became so popular that it also became a meme to make fun of the people who said, but it's so smart.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it is freaking smart. It's very, very intelligent, emotionally deep, incredibly funny.
You sound like one of them, Ollie.
I know. It really, and Luke will just sit there and go, I don't really get it.
But just raise your IQ, Luke.
But you cannot deny it is somewhat of a cultural phenomenon, especially on the internet, especially on Reddit. Those are the exact sort of people that what I would argue would be quite, what's the word? Like leaning towards an AEW fandom if they weren't already.
Yeah.
So if you get those Rick and Morty fans to tune in because they love Rick and Morty, I think, the Venn diagram will cross over with, oh, I think I like this wrestling thing as well.
Yeah, because if they like the sort of comedy that Rick and Morty provides, granted it is an intelligent, smart show and all that other stuff that you just said, it is also just funny, just straight up. And if they see a match with Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, they're going to be like, that's funny. Yeah. I like this stuff. I like this AEW. Might stick around for it. So yeah, I think you're right. It's very good. Also, just a quick note, JR said wubba lubba dub dub on commentary. Good job, JR. Love you, buddy.
He's softening.
Yeah, he's getting into it now.
He's being kneaded out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
This was just a comedy match. Best Friends were dressed as Rick and Morty. Orange Cassidy was also dressed as Rick. I love how they're presenting Cassidy in that no one actually sells. He's like low effort super kicks.
Yeah,
but they do sell his proper ones with his hands in his pockets. So like he did a drop kick and he also did a dive outside. Stuff that you have to sell because it's a man's force coming towards you.
Exactly.
Just sounds like a sex act.
Yeah, so it maintains that it's serious without it being serious.
It doesn't undermine the rest of the physicality you've established on the show.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, like you said, it was a fun match. It was pretty quick. When Cassidy came in, the crowd went mental. The crowd is so into Orange Cassidy. Popped perfectly for his offense as usual. His sunglasses fell off when he did his kip up, and the referee picked them up and put them back on for him, which is just...
But they were still slightly askew. So when they did the hug spot, which was shortly after that, Cassidy's nose selling it. I swear he's breaking though.
I know.
Like he's got a little smirk because his glasses are just like this. So much fun.
I know.
So much fun.
So good.
A comedy match. It was very funny. And it's got the Rick and Morty tie-in. Hopefully that brings new eyes to their show.
Yep. And Best Friends won.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Jericho and Cody's contract signing is next. Jericho comes out dressed in a pumpkin jacket. If I get a new jacket, this is the one I want.
That one, yeah. Oh, it was so good. Cody came out with Tony Schiavone, keeping that consistency from the limo. Schiavone put over the stipulations as they've been laid out. 60-minute time limit. They've got 3 judges just in case it does go to that 60-minute time limit. And then passes it off. Cody signs the contract. There's a microphone next to him, but he doesn't say anything, just kind of signs it and hands over the contract back. Jericho takes it, and then he looks like he's going to get up and flip the table. And Cody's just like, and he goes, I got you, didn't I? Jericho was amazing here. Cuts a little promo. Just saying, he does a little dig at WWE again, saying, this match is too important. We're not going to get into a brawl. I'm not going to powerbomb you through the table because this match is too important. We're not going to downplay it, which is quite funny. He said it's the biggest match of AEW and of Cody's career. And he's saying he's going to be the world champ if he wins. It's something that he's always wanted. You've always wanted to be world champ. You weren't in WWE. Kind of throwing that one in there a little bit more.
Yeah, it's negging him while building him up. Brilliant,
exactly.
Brilliant wrestling promo psychology.
Yeah. But then he's saying, but if he loses, then maybe you're not as good as he thought you were. And then he's going to teach him a lesson in what it's like to be a loser. And then he signs the contract.
He's gonna prove to Cody and all these entitled millennials.
I think it was millennial jackasses is what he said. And he also called them hillbillies at one point. It was great.
The crowd are giving him genuine heel heat, and that's something. What? Congratulations to Jericho for making people boo him because he's so cool and Les Champions, a little bit of the bubbly. Everything he does is irresistible to pop for.
Yeah.
Even when he's a heel.
Yeah.
But credit to the crowd as well because they are like, nope, you're a bad guy. We're going to treat this in the way it actually should be treated rather than going into business for ourselves. And it creates such a much better on TV experience for me as a viewer. But yeah, they're shouting, you suck at Jericho. Jericho interacts with them and says, I don't suck. Schiavone sucks. Talking to Tony. And then he says, calm down, hillbillies.
Yeah.
And that got the biggest heat of the night. And JR, brilliant, just goes, oh. It was such a, Michael Cole, I know I shouldn't compare to WWE, but Michael Cole would go oh, come on, these are the reasons that's offensive, really dumbing it down for us.
Yeah.
JR, succinct, one line, and in that communicated more about the emotion I should be feeling than anything a long explanation would do.
It's like the classic line of when Vince McMahon revealed himself as the higher power, and he goes, "Oh, son of a bitch!" It's all you need. Yeah. It's just that.
Yeah. I think JR is getting better every week. Really, really, really enjoying him. They all are. Tony as well. Excalibur is just has always been good, I think.
Yeah.
So they shake hands. Jericho goes to leave, but Cody pulls him face to face, and you think, Cody's on top here. Brilliant reveal. Jericho says, "Oh, we can stay here all night," because, they're doing that whole "we might kiss" thing.
Yeah.
But you might be needed elsewhere. This was a hell of an angle.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after how the baby faces were on top after last week. I got a ticket, that bit.
Yep.
On the screen, there is Sammy Guevara, filming from his mobile phone. Itself foreshadowed in Paige's entrance in the opening match. Sammy's filming himself. So that's, it's not come out of nowhere. Very well thought out and attention to detail. And it's Dustin Rhodes getting beaten up by Jake Hager in the car park around the limo. And he's slams his head on the trunk. He knees him in the dick, which is a direct play on Hager's Bellator fight, where he got disqualified, really. Ended in a draw because of some unintentional low blows, just, throwing wild knees and elbows. And then he, slams Dustin's hand in the door. It looked brutal.
It looks so good. There was one bit as well right before that, when he's just kind of standing there, just kind of taking him what he did, and then he just grabs Dustin's head and rams it into the side of the limo, and it dents the side of the limo. It looks so good. It looks so cool. And then, just crashes his arm straight in the limo door. Dustin sold this amazingly. Literally screaming and grabbing his arm, thrashing about on the floor. Was so good. Eventually, Cody and Jericho make it out to the back into the car park, and Cody and they all start attending.
MJF as well.
MJF was there, sorry, yeah. Start attending to Dustin on the floor, and then it kind of pans over to Jericho, and he just goes, "Oh, that looks bad. You might want to take him to the hospital." It's like, God, you're such a dick.
And then gets out a cigar. This massive Groucho Marx cigar. Lights it and starts chomping on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that this is sorry, I'm mentioning the Observer review so much, but I found it very interesting because their opinions were the complete opposite of mine. But also for this historical fact, smoking a cigar is a very 60s, 70s heel thing, apparently. That's what you would do as a real sign of disrespect. It almost became a trope, a cliche. But that hasn't been done for a long, long time. That just shows how much of a student of the game Jericho is.
Yeah.
That he's thinking, what can I use? What can I use from the great works in wrestling and bring it back now, just when it's sort of faded out of consciousness?
And I think with Cody as well, being such a student of wrestling history as well, and using his influence in these segments as well, it's fantastic. And then one final thing that Jericho says, he just goes, "Happy Halloween," and then gets in his car. So good.
I think we're going to have to pick up there's so much on this show that I've loved.
Oh, God, I did not see the time.
We've got two massive matches to get
we do.
to still. And,
okay.
We've got a Crown Jewel review to get to, too, with
we
Super
do.
Chats. So next up, we had the Hybrid 2 of Angelico and Jack Evans and Kip Sabian versus the Elite with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Walk us through this, Pete. It was lost on me.
So, you have no idea what happened in this segment. I do. Bloody love Undertale Me, one of my favourite games of all time.
I've literally never heard of it.
Undertale is incredible.
Right.
It's also my game of shame if we ever do that.
Okay.
Genocide Run, I can't finish it. Anyway, there was a video package to play beforehand that was Undertale themed. It started off with Kenny's music as normal, and then it cut into this Undertale themed video package, and it was this voice. Well, you don't hear a voice, but you have the text coming up on screen in the Undertale style saying, we know the cleaner's still there, and you've always had it in you, and your friends have never been beside you. Where's your best friend and all that stuff? And it showed an outline of Kota with the G1, kind of with the G1 trophy, which kind of faded away.
Yeah, I don't think you can't say for sure that the outline was Kota, but
it's heavily implied.
It was definitely the G1 trophy. Kota won the
and
trophy
it said
this year.
best friend.
Best friend.
So you'd think it's probably Kota.
And they don't do stuff and not pay off. That's I think that's the first sign of a New Japan working relationship.
That would be amazing, yeah. But then the video package went on and he's saying, best friend was never on his side. It's only a matter of time before all your friends leave him again. And then he has some illusions playing around him. And then there's just a sock that gets thrown in his face. The illusions go away. And then you hear another voice, which is a very recognizable character from the game called Sans, who's probably the most popular character. Just saying, put a sock in it, mate. It's all right if I tag in for this one, Cody. And then Sans' theme song, Megalovania, starts playing. I was popping out my seat for this because it's incredible. And then Kenny Omega came out and he was dressed as Sans from Undertale. I was popping so hard for this.
It's super niche.
Oh, yeah,
super
totally.
niche. Because I like to think I'm across a lot of popular culture and geek culture. I've never heard of this.
I would say it's very similar in terms of fan bases, very similar to that kind of Rick and Morty style, where super duper popular game to the point where it almost became a meme because people used it against the people that liked it.
Right.
It's that sort of fan base now, where people are saying, best game ever. If you don't like it, you have a heart of stone and all that stuff. Like the extremists start saying stuff like that. It was,
So, and then the Young Bucks came out as Street Fighter characters,
Fighters
which
as
they'd
well,
already done in Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
So to put on my Cornet Meltzer hat,
Uh-huh.
they're not the same person, obviously.
Yep.
Meltzer's a lot more open-minded. I would say, why are you doing this? If it's such a niche reference, you shouldn't do that. You're isolating. This is your top stars. You're isolating a huge casual portion of the audience that you want to bring in. I disagree with that. I totally understand if you think that way, though. I think that is justified. My personal feeling is what makes AEW such a great promotion is it's genuine.
Yeah.
And that, Kenny obviously genuinely loves this. It comes through. So while I didn't understand the lick of it, people popped for it. It worked from an audible standpoint. And when it works, it works. I thought it was. I'm smart enough to go, oh, it's a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing a thing. I don't understand what the thing is, but it's a thing that people get.
Yeah.
So I actually think this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have lots more to say, but we need to move on.
Sorry.
Because Crown Jewel things.
So they had a high-flying match. It was really to put over the Elite. We talked about Paige earlier on. I think this is the best Kenny has looked as well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I thought he was having so much fun. They kept on cutting off the Terminator dive. He eventually hit it.
I think the Hybrid 2 looked amazing in this as well. I think everyone looked great in this match.
Yeah.
But I think they really put over everyone, really, in this one. It was fantastic. Lots of things happened. We don't have time to go through all the spots. But Omega hit a V-trigger and then a one-winged angel for the win.
Really
was
smart
awesome.
to have a lot of six-man tags on this show. No tag matches apart from the main event.
Yeah,
which
was great.
makes that feel special. Really good match structure for the night. But afterwards, the Young Bucks are slapping hands like baby faces at ringside to the fans. But there's two guys who hold on to their fans, their hands rather. They're wearing Rick and Morty masks. It's those dastardly heels, Ortiz and Santana. They pull the Bucks over the barricade and beat them up and run away.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Cool. Continuing spinning that plate and that feud. It was great.
Then we got the Mox thing, and then we got SCU versus Lucha Bros.
This was a match, wasn't it? So it started off with Private Party were at ringside watching, and you can see the Dark Order backstage as well. They were all watching, which made it feel like a kind of a big time thing. Get dueling chants for both teams. People are super into both. This was a very fun match. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. I was really, really getting invested into this match. And then it kind of ended.
Yeah. So, we'll just do a quick run through. There were no entrances.
No.
Which I feel was a real shame.
Yeah.
Because the Lucha Bros, I think, got a great entrance.
Yeah.
And as have SCU. Give them a promo before the match. This is the worst town or city I've ever been in. But the crowd was still super hot for it.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, deserves a lot of credit here. He did a proper, this is your main event. And then the crowd were like, yay. And he says, I said, this is your main event. And don't discount that sort of theatricality to making the crowd more into it. He wrote very extensively about how he wanted to use ring announcing to improve crowd experiences and interactions in WWE, but WWE shut him down. And now he's getting to do that here. I think it's very, very interesting. Anyway,
it's great.
This match was insane. There were loads of spots. Kazarian tried to kill himself several times, including the worst one being a Hurricane Rana off the top rope onto Phoenix off the apron. But when going backwards, his head and neck lands firmly on the apron.
Bonk.
Looked awful.
Yeah, and then Phoenix just kind of had to jump off from that. It wasn't really a Hurricane Rana. He just kind of self-powerbombed himself.
But then the Lucha Bros seemingly had it won after Pentagon powerbombed Kaz through a table outside. They're going for the foot stomp pile driver combo, but Kaz takes out Phoenix, and Sky rolls up Penta for the win.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about this, honestly, because I said this in my 4-minute review. This was probably my only real gripe with this show. Granted, I think the Cody Tony Schiavone segment went a little bit too long, and I didn't really get the Brandi Rhodes segment. Apart from that, this is pretty much a flawless show, I'd say. Apart from this finish, I think, because if you want to have SCU win, that's totally fine. I don't mind that SCU won. Completely fine. I would have been happy if either team won. I don't know how to feel about them winning with a small package because it kind of undermines the tournament a little bit. Because for something that's so big and something that they've been hyping for so many weeks and they've done so well in building every team through it and making new stars like Private Party beating the Young Bucks and things like that, to have it end with a small package kind of undermines the whole thing. And they've had a really good track record of having clean, proper finishes when it matters. Chris Jericho won the title in a clean finish. Riho won the title. Clean finish. For first title wins and for big important matches, I think it's really important to solidify, no, these are your winners, or this is your winner for this match clean. Whereas this kind of felt like
definitive finish, you mean?
Yeah, so definitive. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm messing up words here. It was a clean finish, but it wasn't a definitive finish. So just having a small package, it makes the Lucha Bros look a little bit dumb, I want to say, for not seeing a small package coming. Or does it make the SCU look really clever for winning with a small package?
Fluky.
Oh, fluky, yeah. It doesn't really feel like the end of the tournament, which it should. I feel like this is now building to like a rematch at Full Gear, which isn't the point. It's to have your first winners. So, I don't know. It was fine. It's not what I would have done.
No, this was in the bottom half of all the tournament matches.
Yeah.
And that's like, all of the tournament matches have been very, very good. But a lot of them have been incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like the Lucha Bros Private Party match. I really got into the Dark Order one last week. The Young Bucks Private Party match.
Yeah.
So it was the SCU first one as well, where Scorpio Sky really heavily got over.
Yeah.
So this was like beneath all of those.
Yeah.
And it felt short. And it didn't actually have much story. I thought maybe I just invented my own story and was disappointed they didn't do it. But I thought Daniels was going to factor into it somehow to give a kind of level of emotion to it that I felt was missing. Yeah, you're totally right. This felt like it felt like they were trying to serve too many masters. They didn't want to make the Lucha Bros look rubbish, but they wanted to put the titles on SCU. So they went somewhere in the middle and didn't really achieve either.
At least it wasn't a referee stoppage.
There's always that.
Yeah, I just felt like it didn't really feel like the big moment it should have been. And it felt like they retained the titles rather than won them for the first time.
It's a really interesting
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Well, let's see what you all thought. We're going to have to run through these super chats really quickly. Scott, because we've got the Crown Jewel live stream coming. I guess it started 4 minutes ago.
Technically, yeah, the pre-show started 4 minutes ago.
We're hoping the Battle Royal doesn't start till hour, but we'll be right back after we've done this. Scott Hawks, remember when Becky was made to say sorry to the Authority? Remember when Owens was made to do the same? Mox's promo is how it should have been done.
Absolutely agree, 100%.
Jake C. Moxley is going to chop it down. On SCU versus the Lucha Bros, Oblivious Carrie writes, SCU has been watching WWE most efficient win.
At least it wasn't against Samoa Joe, I guess.
Or for the 24/7 title. Andrew Obama, how you feel, guys, now that both the women's title and the tag team titles have now both been roll-up wins and not with a finisher? I didn't think of that, yeah. I would prefer them to be more different. For Rio, it works.
Yeah, because you're facing the person like Nyla Rose. It's more definitive with a roll-up.
Ricardo Tavares. I think the finish of the tag team match was anticlimactic, and the crowd seemed to think too, because there was a very low initial reaction to the SCU win. What do you guys think? Crazy spots, basic finish.
Agreed.
Yeah, basic finish. That's sign language for basic, by the way.
Okay,
cool. I can't
just
say
that.
one without the other now.
Okay. We got some about AEW brackets general. New Punk Rant said, AEW gave me hope as a fan. It's flawed, but they are fixing it as they go. It's not like 1999 WCW or 2019 WWE. Yay, Saudi show. Have to watch for Bray. Sad face emoji.
I think that's a good comparison that they are trying to fix it. That's why I'm like, I feel like our problems now, they will fix in a couple of weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. Rex Joseph Calmerin said, I popped when they had JR say wubba lubba dub dub.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Perga B said, love the show. Also, who do you feel both singles and tag-wise should head to AEW even from WWE? Also, keep up the amazing work, you beautiful, glorious people.
Well, I guess the popular thing would be to say the revival to AEW for that Young Bucks feud. Mm-hmm. The Hardys.
Oh, wow.
That's what I want more.
Okay.
I want Hardys versus Bucks in AEW.
Okay.
Singles, what do you reckon?
I don't know.
I don't want any singles.
Asuka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Curtis Rivera said 4 promo segments, no what chance. Just saying. I think there was some what chance.
Oh, I didn't pick up on
I think it was to Jericho, but I think it was in like a good way, if that makes sense. If there's ever a good time for a what chant, I think it's against like your top heel. I think
well
it
done,
works.
Crowd. You're very good all night.
Yeah, very good. Flame Inc. said, I'm confused. Is DDP on the active AEW roster? No.
No. He's just Cody's family
Cody's
friend.
buddy.
Yeah, but I personally think he will have a match next year.
Yeah. Jobba JJ said, Orange Cassidy is the best, freshly squeezed. And Cameron Ball said, CM Punk was signed by AEW. Dave Meltzer tweeted it.
Look. I know that's fake, but
yeah.
I'm so worried about missing out on that.
I know, yeah, that we need to check it right now.
I'm looking at it.
Jeremy Bell said Sammy Guevara looks like Dante from Devil May Cry. He actually does. It's amazing.
Dave Meltzer hasn't tweeted for 9 hours.
Aren't you a little liar? Flame Inc. said, with DDP and AEW, you might have to say Hangman or Dallas since both are Page, and there could be some confusion. Also, was this a Halloween-themed AEW? It was sort of a little bit. They referenced it a few times.
Yeah, and they're Rick and Morty turnbuckles
yes.
and cover pads.
Yeah. Danny W. said, LAX name now is...
Proud and Powerful.
Proud and Powerful.
Sorry, I did know that, yeah. I don't think that's the greatest name.
No. No.
That's more difficult to say.
LAX
than
was
Santana
better. LAX was better. Kratos' Forgotten Son said, I know I'm an AEW mark, but another awesome episode of Dynamite. Also, I'm really liking Hangman's entrance theme song. Chill Cowboy S-word. Hashtag WrestleTalk for life. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm really conscious now because I always try and look at things as objectively as possible. I hope that comes across. I think we all do, actually.
We try to.
But yeah, I'm loving AEW so much. And when I love something so much, something in my head goes, all right, what's going on here?
Stop being so into this, yeah. Peen Man said, by the way, at the end of the show, Kenny and the Bucks mentioned the last pay-per-view that was in West Virginia, sold out 1999, and they might be back with a pay-per-view. I'm so hyped.
Yeah, that was a dark match thing. Dark segment thing,
yeah.
On the Librarians, Zach Icon Lindler, I love the Librarians.
I don't. I enjoyed the heel heat that Peter Avalon got, but that's as far as it goes for me.
Yeah, they don't really have AEW doesn't really have an undercard where they can sit quite nicely. They've got a really great mid card and a really great main event card and a really great tag division. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Chittaranajan, Srivna's Swamithanathan. It was JR that screamed your book is overdue. Smile emoji, swaft emoji. I tell you what, when it was just JR and Excalibur, I could really easily tell who was talking. But when Tony came up, I was mixing them up a bit.
Yeah.
On the AEW women's division, Zach Lindler again. Is Brandi a 3D character? She makes no sense.
I'd say Brandi's a 1D character.
I don't know what she is. Like,
exactly.
Is she Cody's valet, a manager? Is she Awesome Kong's manager? Is
she the head of the women's division like she was before they started their Dynamite shows?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not enjoying it. New Punk rants. Proud fan of AEW. My biggest criticism is how they are building the women's division, but I think time will settle it. B should lead that division.
Agreed.
Yeah, B and Rio.
Yeah.
P-Man again. Being at the show last night,
Woo!
I'm so aggravated at how the women's division has been treated. More dark matches than anything. The dark tag was great. Sadie Gibbs, I guess. Big Swole's on the show, and Mercedes are all main eventers.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're all really good.
Yep.
But I thought they did a really good job here of building new women's division stars in Shida and Shanna.
Yeah.
So, Zach Lindner again. Thank you. I really like Shanna. The hashtag says Shazza.
Yeah.
Though.
I noticed that, on the side, and it said hashtag Shida versus Shazza. I was like, oof, that's unfortunate.
Dwayne Cooley. Shida is my favorite women's wrestler on AEW. Tied with B for me, I would say. She's really great to me. I thought a new faction or superstar was debuting when Omega's entrance happened. I was intrigued until it was Halloween themed.
It's video. I guess it's Halloween because Sans is a skeleton.
Halloween.
It's more video game themed, really.
Halloween sort of just says dress up.
Dress up for things, yeah.
An anonymous Rio won with a running knee to the head. Can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, if that's the case.
Yeah. We got a few about Cody versus Jericho contract signing. Jobber JJ said, Inner Circle kicked so much ass. It was awesome. The commentary was on form in the contract signing, and Tony is a big key factor to add. Totally.
Yeah. They're making, again, here's me thinking 3-man booths don't work. They work if you do them well.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it better. All Elite DK said, the best thing about Cody is he seems like a real person. It's like he is my friend, and I know him since my childhood. I genuinely love the guy.
That's what I'm glad someone else thinks.
Like a mark out moment right now. I'm not the only one.
But that's it. When you say I genuinely love the guy, that's how I feel. Like I genuinely love him.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah.
I genuinely love Cody.
Cool. Miscellaneous super chats. Tim Arndt said, Halloween just passed down here in Australia, and with it, my 21st birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Have my party on the weekend and have the bubbly ready. Wish me luck, boys.
Good luck. 21st. I think you can drink from the age of 13 in Australia. So
yeah,
it's not
like
a big thing for you.
Yeah. Chittaranjan Srivanas Swaminathan. Much
That's
better
how
than
it's
you.
done.
Thank you. Pronounce my name, Ollie. Happy emoji, swaft emoji. Go on.
Chittaranajan Shrivanas Swaminathan.
It's better. Jordan Trickett said, love you all. I listen to you at work. Hashtag Podswafter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. New Punk Rant said, since Russo apparently heads creative in WCW, I mean WWE, at Crown Jewel, have David Arquette interfere, set up Seth versus Arquette. Might as well. WWE's that bad.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
But it won't be stopped for any reason.
Won't be stopped. No reason at all.
You wear the Scream mask.
Of course. Deej the Second said, it's my birthday today. Happy birthday. So cool I share a birthday with Pete. Still not my birthday.
And Tim Arndt.
Thanks for the best birthday present, not having to watch Crown Jewel. You should watch along with us, though. Josh D. Demonics said, when does the next season of Wrestle League start? That would be Survivor Series, because this season ends with Survivor Series and starts at Survivor Series for the next one.
Yeah.
Sparks says, FYI, daylight savings time never started for the USA, so for us, Crown Jewel starting in 20 minutes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It means, I thought I was going to get out of here at midnight tonight, but now it's like 11.
I know, yeah. So much better. All Elite DK said, someone please delete Seth's Twitter account, burn it down.
Has he been bad again?
I don't know. He might have done something, yeah. Samad Ali said, which Crown Jewel match are you guys most excited for, if any? Loving the Screenstalker streams. I love when Laurie, Pete, and Simon just crap on 2K20. We do that
Glad
a lot.
You enjoy it, yeah.
Twitch.tv/Screenstalker. We just hit affiliate yesterday, so you can go over there and hit the subscribe button and cheer bits and all that good stuff over there too, if you feel like it.
I forgot we're blocked on Seth Rollins' Twitter.
Oh, you are, aren't you? Mundi said, WWE must be drunk. Just got a notification that Crown Jewel starts now, so I went to the network and it started playing Hell in a Cell. Go home, WWE. I think the pre-show started 15 minutes ago, I think.
Let me get it up. You keep going.
Yeah.
I'll get the network.
Samad Ali said, I'm going to sub to Screenstalker Twitch soon. Thank you very much, Samad.
Oh, thank you.
You're awesome. Twitch.tv/Screenstalker.
Your card is here.
Yeah, it's right there if you can see it. Fintmech said, happy Halloween to everybody except the algorithm that didn't notify me that you guys went live. Spooky.
Come on, algorithm. You got to set it to always on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Weird. Fergal McClement said, won't be able to watch the watch along, but wonder, can this super chat still be donated to Sammy for Syria? Sure, we'll make that happen.
Oh, that's going to be so
Can
hard
we?
to keep track of.
I mean, we can just do that one, right?
Yeah.
Add that on.
Make a note of it.
Yeah.
Which one?
It was Fergal McClements.
Cool.
That's the one.
Cool.
Pavila Andy out of his cage. Brandi is just like a bard in D&D. Half of their acts make no sense, but if you still enjoy it, love you guys. I guess so, but you have to enjoy it in order for that to happen, and I didn't. So there's that. And
I've written that down, Fergal, by the way.
Thank you very much. And finally, your casual fan said, who needs a network? I have you.
Who needs anything else ever in their lives apart from us?
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just... So the kickoff show is live now.
Oh, it's Booker T
is talking to David Otunga. I'm sure they're having many valuable insights.
Shucky ducky quack quack. That's my shucky ducky quack quack moment.
It just passed 45 minutes to the countdown.
Yep. Talking about Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury.
Scott Stanford's there as well.
They are
along
not
with
in
Charlie
Saudi
Caruso.
Arabia. I can tell you that much.
It's a green screen studio.
Yep.
But we will. We're going to go away now. But we'll be back in like 10 minutes, and we'll live stream Crown Jewel with you all. So the event's already there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just click on that and we'll turn up. Anonymous has just got in.
Ooh.
Nearly missed that. I know, Ollie, I genuinely care about Cody as a friend. The last 2 times I've cared for a babyface like this was Daniel Bryan and Punk.
Yeah. Totally
I think
fair.
we're the same person, Anonymous. Is that just me tweeting, like, super chattiness?
Yeah.
So, all hop over to Crown Jewel's live stream now, and we'll see you there. For everyone else just watching on demand, please click the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest source and WrestleTalk things, and give us a subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. The best way you can support this channel is to get those subscribe numbers up. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Chopper Pete Cornell, and that was AEW.